she plays it again between the fullback and the centre-half, which you all know Alex as a fullback, it's really difficult to defend. So she takes the more difficult option and puts her team on the front foot.
What I think is crazy is she's showing so much intensity and energy that she can make a change, Sonia Bompastor, and bring on Hermano, who could do exactly the same thing second half. So it's quite crazy the depth that this Chelsea team have as well.
Do you think she's looking at that bench and seeing where she can tweak it and change?
I think she'll want to gain some more yards, I think in terms of territory, where they're playing at the minute, Chelsea are quite deep in territory, and I'm sure Bompastor on the side is wanting her team to play in the opposition's half. I think with Hermano on the pitch, who sets the press, will allow Chelsea to do that. Whether that happens early in the second half or a little bit later, I think it will happen at some point, and as I said, it will get Chelsea more on the front foot, more aggressive. I do think the pitch has played a huge part for both teams in this game, so it's more ugly down this end that Manchester City have been attacking compared to the other half. So
you can see that, Farah, as balls are coming into players, it is bouncing everywhere.
It is, there's a real bobble on it, the pitch is really cutting up. You'll see it, as I mentioned, it's more down this end of the pitch that Manchester City have attacked. Now Chelsea are going to attack that in the second half, so it's going to be difficult.
I think they've used it to their advantage as well, that longer ball into that Ramirez chance, Alexandre slipping, maybe we'll see that a bit more, trying to stretch the play, and then maybe they might be able to play some intricate passes, but it's not great quality for the football that we want to see. But again, the first half has been really exciting.
Farah, you could have played on that pitch.
Of course, Alex. With my ice skates.
Could that be the difference when we're talking about Emma Hayes' team, Sonia Bompastor? She's managed to lift this trophy. Emma Hayes couldn't do that in the last 3 attempts. Every trophy matters. That is the mindset.
Yeah, and Alex, what impressed me about Sonia Bompastor is that when she first come into this team, the opening day that we did against Aston Villa on that, I think it was on that Friday night, and they only won that 1-0, and they suffered a lot in that game. She come over to press after, and what she said is all that matters to her is winning. And I think that's what herself and this Chelsea team have demonstrated in every single game they've played this season. And I think that's the difference. They don't have a set identity in terms of what they play and their playing style. They're able to adapt. As Ellen mentioned, they made some real key substitutions, Hermano being one. It just injected a little bit of energy that they needed in that moment, and obviously the goal come within 5 minutes of those substitutions, so she's been really impressive.
Well, we are right next to the Chelsea fans, and actually right behind us, the Chelsea players, rightly so, taking it all in, because that is what their fans love to see. Their team lifting trophy after trophy. Ellen, is it too early to talk about the quadruple?
I don't know, Alex, you were there last time. It's so difficult, isn't it, to win 4 trophies. It's very impressive to still be in all those competitions. This is the first one ticked off their list. They've obviously in the quarterfinals of Champions League, still the league title, FA Cup. It's going to be challenging, but you've got someone at the helm who's very experienced in winning. You've got some players that are experienced winning things. Now it's about recovering and moving on to the next game. Tactics, formation, everything changes now.
And you know what else they have? An excellent captain and an excellent leader. Joe Curry's with their captain, Millie Bright, right now.
Well, Millie, it's been 4 long years since Chelsea have been able to call themselves the League Cup champions. How do you sum up your emotions at the end of that one?
Yeah, just honestly, we're just buzzing. I think things like that sit in the back of your mind. It's certainly been doing my head in for a long time. So, yeah, I think we're really happy. It's the start that we wanted into these next, 4 fixtures. But most importantly, today is all about winning, and that's what we did.
As you say, the last 3 years, finishing runners-up, it's done your head in. What made the difference today? Because there wasn't much between these two sides.
Yeah, listen, it was always going to be a tight game. They had chances, we had chances. But I think just that mentality, I think we defended really, really well, front to back. And I think we should have put a couple more chances away, to be honest, especially in the first half. But honestly, just that mentality to never give in. And I think that's something that Chelsea have had in their DNA for a long time, is we always find a way, whether it's a good day or a bad day, we come out on top.
What does this do for you now? Now you're into this mad period of playing Manchester City in less than a 2-week period.
Yeah, listen, it's rest, recover and go again. It's obviously a strange period for both teams. We've never been in this position. But listen, yeah, we have to be aware of potential changes for the next game. So yeah, we'll see. We'll just prepare it the best that we can.
I mean, bearing in mind you've got a Champions League quarter-final on Wednesday next week, will you be allowed to celebrate tonight?
Absolutely not, no. Straight home, get to bed, get back, recovery and then back to training.
Well, look, Millie, congratulations. You are the Subway player of the match. I had hoped the award might be a foot-long Subway, a sandwich. Instead, you're going to have to settle for this very heavy trophy. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Millie Bright straight home to bed
Absolutely
and recover.
no celebration, absolutely not.
But I suppose she's right, because they have got important games ahead of them. That is one trophy down. They want more, so you celebrate at the end of the season, Ellen.
Exactly, and I think you need someone like that in the team, that leader, that mentality, and she'll be driving that. And I think all the players understand that. They want to win everything. It's not that easy. Rest, recover, move on. I'm sure they have a little celebration in the changing rooms, but they've got their sights set on a lot this season.
Oh, you were just shaking your head. You're like,
No, there's no celebration. Not today. I think it comes too close. They've got 4 massive games. They've obviously won down now, and they've won that, and they've picked up some silverware. But Champions League has been on their radar for so long now. I think the importance of the game on Wednesday, again against Manchester City, is far too important than one cheeky glass of champagne in the dressing room.
not a little cheeky one, Faz.
Not a cheeky one. I might have one to celebrate.
But in terms of, Millie Bright mentioned that there could be changes, but that actually then alludes to their squad depth.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And I think it's going to have to change. I can't see the starting 11 here starting every single game. It's a lot. 4 games in 12 days is a lot. So the depth will come into this squad, and I think that will be very, very useful for them, especially Man City. I don't think they've got the squad depth that Chelsea have.
I think that will be the difference. I think Chelsea have far better squad depth. I think they showed today they have better adaptability. I think that's something that Manchester City hasn't shown, not just this season, but in seasons previous as well. They've got a style of play they're adamant on playing, and they adopt that. And when they do it well, and they, are clinical like they should have been, because it could have been a different game if they were, it works. They're not going to come away from that. So they're going to probably adopt the same style and tactics in the next game. But something we know about Chelsea, they'll probably look at this game today and they'll tweak it a little bit. It'll be a different Chelsea team come Wednesday night.
It is heartache and heartbreak for Manchester City, but can they take positives from this game, Ellen?
Yeah, definitely. I think they controlled large parts of it. I think they moved the ball well. I think they created a lot of chances. I think for them, it has to be more clinical. They have to score more goals. They put themselves in good positions. The defending at times wasn't up to scratch. Farah spoke about it. They were quite fragile and vulnerable. So they need to tweak a few things. Their technical actions as well, some of the passing. But obviously they weren't excited about the pitch as well. Obviously midweek they'll be back home, and I think they'll enjoy that pitch. But I still think they need to score more goals.
Let's remind ourselves of actually how the game unfolded. And, we've spoken about her quality, and when Chelsea signed her back in 2024, we knew she was going to be something special in what she would add to this Chelsea team, and she got them off and running.
Yeah, she did. And I think it was an unbelievable goal. Back to front, Hannah Hampton out to this left-hand side. Baltimore controlled into Macario, spinning Hasegawa. Lovely little ball into Lauren James. Now, this run and weighted pass from Lauren James is unbelievable. And then obviously fortuitous came off, obviously Yamashita and Alexandria in the last touch by Ramirez. But I think overall, Chelsea will be very happy with that first goal.
Yeah, and I think it demonstrates the fact that they were able to adapt. They didn't want to play into a press. They didn't want to play out for the back. So what Hannah Hampton did was actually clipped it past the first line of defence of the Manchester City strikers. And then that set them on their way, because they've taken out a line of defence. And now they outnumber them a little bit further up the pitch. It was a fantastic goal from back to front, showing a little bit different.
And Manchester City, though, they kept up the pressure. It didn't deter them. They were coming out, like we said, they've played with a lot of aggression and on the front foot. And in the second half, would you say they got their rewards, Ellen?
I think so. Obviously, they would have liked to have won the game, but I feel like for Gino, she's got a lot of energy. She's scored a number of goals like this season, and I think the Chelsea back line and defenders just pulled off a little bit. I think we would question maybe Hannah Hampton. It does kind of take a ricochet off Millie Bright, but it's a beautiful, wonderful strike from Fagino.
Yeah, Fagino does really well. She picks it up, obviously, inside the half and drives with it. And what Chelsea do is retreat, and in retreating, they obviously open up the goal a little bit for Fagino. She fakes the shoot and then touches it just past Baltimore and hits. I think the only downfall, something you might question, and I thought Rachel Brown in commentary might have said, was Hannah Hampton was actually covering that near post. Maybe she started too low, but a fantastic finish, and you can't take nothing away from Fagino.
It was a great finish, but not the way we wanted to see the next goal unfold. No one likes to score an own goal. I've done it a couple of times. You just want to hide. Farah, I'm on your side today. I wasn't going to mention you. But what it is? It's absolutely heartbreaking, Ellen.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking, and I'm sure her teammates will come around her, and obviously it wasn't her fault that they lost the game. Obviously, yes, she did score that goal, but there's lots of other things that come into it. But for me, Lucy Bronze absolutely goes crazy down this right-hand side into Aggie Beaver-Jones, and then Ramirez crossing the ball, and Hasegawa just needs to get a touch on it because Hamano's behind her, and it's just so unlucky that it flicks over Yamashita.
But I think what was good about this, Alex, you see Lucy when she does go into those areas, gives it into Beaver-Jones, she doesn't stop her run. Once she's played it out wide to Ramirez, Aggie Beaver-Jones continues her run into the box, along with Hamano, and what it does is then you've got the Manchester City defenders facing their own goal. As the ball comes across the box, it's very difficult for a defender to readjust their feet to clear their line. On this occasion, Hasegawa couldn't sort her feet out, and it's just gone the wrong way of the goal for her.
And I think it was impressive, those substitutions, because they were kind of lacking that energy to get into the box, and once you saw that energy, then the goal came. So I think it's very clever from Sonia Bompastor to bring on those 6 players as well.
Well, look, as the celebrations continue, they're not lacking that energy right now. Okay, let's get over to Joe, who's with the Chelsea manager.
Well, Sonia, huge congratulations. Happy, relieved? How does it feel to get your hands on that first winners' medal?
Yeah, really happy for sure. You know, when you get to a final, it's always the main thing is to win. The game was not easy today, but yeah, really happy with the win. First trophy in the season, it's always important.
How much pressure did you feel to deliver a trophy today?
You know, like I just told my girls, my players, really important to make sure today we are able to turn words into action. I think we worked so hard every day from the beginning of the season, and that today was a huge opportunity for us to perform and to win a title. So yeah, really happy with that. And yeah, I think it's well deserved for all the work we have been doing.
There wasn't much between the two sides today. What made you most proud about the performance?
Again, I think, as you said, City had a good performance. It was a difficult game for us. We knew that. But we were able again to find a way to win today. So that's what I'm the most proud of.
Because of the schedule, you're not going to have too long to enjoy this. Will you allow your players to celebrate a little bit tonight?
My players know exactly the rules, so yeah, I told them that's important to celebrate for sure, but we have a game against City on Wednesday, and we'll need to be ready because, yeah, again, we expect a tough game.
So no wild nights tonight then?
No, they can just go out until 9 o'clock and 9:30 on bed.
I love the fact you've given them a curfew, but look, massive congratulations, it's your first winners' medal. You did really well today, well done.
Thank you so much, thanks.
I tell you what, Lucy Bronze joins us now. Lucy, huge congratulations. You need to tell us about the rules going on and the 9 p.m. curfew.
I don't know about that. I think Millie will take over from that.
What is the recovery? You said you've got a nice spa day going on.
Yeah, we actually do have a spa day recovery tomorrow. We've got to play them again Wednesday, and then again and again. So as much as you want to enjoy it, yeah, we have to be a bit smart about it.
Do you know what? Coming into this one, you are open about, yes, everyone's going on about how we're unbeaten this season, but we haven't won any silverware yet. Well, you've got trophy number 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the start of the season was really good, and I think we had a couple of bumpy patches recently, but the silverware is the thing that matters the most at the end of the day. So it was important that we got today's off to a good start, getting 1 trophy in the bank at least, and that means that the season will be a success with that. But now we just have to focus on the next one.
Okay, Lucy, I do have to ask you, do you think you should have had a penalty?
Nobody asked for a penalty.
You know we're going to show you.
If anybody watches me, I throw myself around all the time.
I love this from you, Luce. I did hold up the 10 up in the box up there where he's watching from.
Look at this. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Brilliant.
That's good.
But I pass it, and then I'm blocking for LJ to come onto it. I didn't ask for a pen once.
Was the look in the eyes, not for the...
I was passing it to LJ, blocking the pass. LJ come in, shoot, score, but...
So LJ should have just hit first time. Lauren James should have just hit rather than...
Come on, it's LJ, come on.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Maybe the pitch didn't help, because look at it.
We did say it about the pitch.
I wanted to ask you, Luce, just about joining this Chelsea back line, because just watching all season, they look like they actually really enjoy defending and suffering at time. And obviously you're on a more attacking fullback. How is it to be a part of a back four that actually really enjoy defending? Because the modern day game isn't about defending, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, modern game, people probably neglect defending defensive responsibilities sometimes, but I think when Millie Bright's in your team, you're not allowed to get away with that. And yeah, I follow suit, and I think Nat Bjorn as well has been exceptional all season. I think she probably gets overlooked a lot because she's not English, and we love the English in England. But yeah, and then the likes of Sandy, Ash Lawrence, Neve, I think we're all very focused on our defensive duties. And I'm not being funny, but we have to play against LJ, Myra Ramirez every single day, so it's something we pride ourselves on.
I feel like you thrived under these conditions. Obviously you spoke about the pitch, but I feel like that's like right up your street. Was that something you spoke about as well, to like play the conditions maybe a little bit longer, not always like ticky-tacky football?
Yeah, I think we're trying to develop as a Chelsea team and have different angles to, you know, what we can play and produce. We know that City is a team that likes to play, but I think as a Chelsea team, we know that we can, you know, play at any conditions, whether it's a really good pitch, different, a little bit like today, we can find balls in behind. I think Myra had a really good opportunity to go 2-0 up in the first half because of stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we would love to play more football, but the conditions didn't really suit that today.
Is that something that Sonia is really open to, in terms of having that adaptability in game and players to make those decisions?
Yeah, exactly. I think the fact that we've got so many different players, I think obviously a couple of injuries who would have been key players today, the likes of Kira, Naomi, Guru, like there's Sam, there's a number of different players that could change game for us. But even today we had players coming on off the bench, making a difference, adding energy, adding something different to us.
Okay, Luce, well, huge congratulations. I know you go again midweek and that 9 p.m. curfew, so we'll let you go join the celebration.
I thought it was 9 a.m. though.
You think that baby-faced Erin Cuthbert that come to this club many years ago now, and the calibre of players that she was walking into, a dressing room full of players, full of leaders, full of champions, she'd never experienced this. A wee girl from Scotland came down, but Alex, she's took that pressure of her potential and just grabbed it with both hands, and she's gone on to do magnificent things here. In my opinion, the driving force behind the success in this team. I think what she does on the pitch is unbelievable. In games where you just need to take the game by the scruff of the neck, she doesn't mind doing that. She also has the qualities when, you know, when the pitches are better. You heard her say there, the conditions aren't fit for a cup final.
Do you not then enjoy the thought and the possibility of that link up with Kira Walsh in that midfield then?
Yeah, I think it will take time to develop. I think with Erin, as I mentioned, she has so many different qualities in her play. She's a phenomenal reader of the game. She manages game very well. She can dictate the rhythm, the tempo. She scores goals. She can do all the messy work. Kira's a little bit different. I don't think Kira has all of that. She's not all-rounded. When you talk possession-based, when you talk about finding key passes, that's when Kira comes into her own, sees the game very well. But I think if you can get those two linking up well, I think it's frightening for the league moving forward.
I think it's for different games as well. Nuskin played really well as that 6 today, but Kira could come in for different games and formations, and it could be a 3 at the back maybe. So that's what Sonia's got up her sleeve now, which is really exciting.
Okay, well, look, we took Lucy, spoke us through her potential penalty. She said she didn't ask for it, but she gave the eyes. Should Manchester City have had a penalty, Ellen?
There's 2 different angles. Initially, I was shouting penalty.
Screaming, not...
Well, I was screaming. Well, there is a tiny bit of contact, but her foot is planted at the time, and I think it will kind of zoom in, and you'll be able to see the angle that I'm talking about. When you look at this angle, I just feel like Baltimore just clips the back of her heels there, and then Bunny goes down. But from this angle, if you look at her left foot, it's just a left foot there. Just a little kick, but then she plants it. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. I don't think VAR can overturn the referee's decision, if I'm being honest.
I think that's more the case. I think the decision from the on-field decision of the referee, I think there weren't enough to overturn that decision. Hence why I don't think VAR would have got involved. And I don't think it was clear and obvious foul. There was contact, we saw that. But I actually don't think Baltimore changed her stride running alongside Bunny Shaw. And I think the way that Bunny Shaw just puts her leg out a little bit, it catches. But do I think it's enough for a penalty? No.
I think the ref done really well today. I think that was a great decision. A number of decisions went to VAR. They had a look. They said, no, that was a very good decision from the referee. So I think she had a really good game.
Okay, let's get back over to Jo, because I believe she's with Hannah Hampton and Ramirez.
Maya, Hannah, League Cup champions, massive congratulations. First silverware of the season in the bank. How do you sum that one up, Hannah?
Yeah, I think it was a hard-fought win. You could see that. I think we
needed to tidy up in moments in the game. I think Man City had a lot of momentum, especially in the first half, and towards the second half after they scored, their fans really got behind them, and you could see that they were pushing for a second straight on. But we dug in. We knew what we had to do. We had to defend quite solidly, and we did that. Bar that one goal maybe, but no, it's important for us to get some silverware at the beginning of the season, and it's only going to push us on to get more.
You're happy though?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I think we just made it hard for ourselves. I think we could have made it a bit easier, and we didn't have to panic the fans and panic ourselves a bit. But no, I'm happy, of course.
Well, look, there was a goal for this woman stood next to you today. Can you ask Maya for us what this trophy means to her?
¿Qué significa este trofeo para ti?
Estoy muy contenta por este trofeo, pero tenemos una semana difícil y tenemos más juegos por este mes.
She said that she's happy with the trophy. We've got to train hard, and we've got a big week ahead with more games to come.
She did a wonderful dance with Shoka after her goal. Can she maybe demonstrate it again or tell us more about it?
Okay. Es un baile que practicamos. Necesitamos ver los siguientes partidos para ver qué celebraciones tenemos.
She said they've been practicing that, but they've got to wait and see if there's any more celebrations coming for the next couple of games. But she's been practicing a lot in the hotel with Theo for sure.
Well, I think they're already a TikTok sensation off the back of that. We're now entering this really mad period where you're going to face City again 3 more times back to back. What can you take from this game? What have you learned today that can help you going forward?
I think in possession we can be tidier. I think we can manage the game a lot better than what we did. Out of possession, we know the qualities that Man City have. They don't need a lot of chances to get a goal. They showed that today, and yeah, we're going to keep working as hard as we can on the training pitch. It's not often you play them 4 times in a row. Not many people can say they've done that, but I think by the end we'll be tired of seeing each other, that's for sure.
Well, we can't wait to see what dance you come up with next week. Well done, enjoy this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Good dance.
Well, Farah, Ellen, can't remember you two dancing away on your goal celebrations like Ramirez there.
Definitely not me, Al.
You wanted to be included. You said include
I
me
wouldn't
in
mind
that
him
one.
teaching me for TikTok as content creating and all that is a way forward.
Don't worry, Farah, we'll get you going viral very soon. Not sure for what, but we'll find a way. Don't you worry. But in terms of actually Millie Bright, again there, we've been speaking about her player of the match up against Bunny Shaw. That battle today was so exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was tops for me. I mean, you talk about leadership, and we spoke before the game. You know, Manchester City losing Alex Greenwood and that leadership she has there. But Millie Bright doesn't mind. She loves defending, whether it be physical, whether it mean, she's got a technical player in and around her. She enjoys the battle. And those 1v1 battles and duels, there's not many that get on the better side of Millie Bright. You see here, she's just letting her know she's there. That was a tough challenge for Bunny Shaw to take. And one of those where she gets the ball, Alex, an old school tackle where she leaves one in as well and lets the striker know that you're there. One's at Ellen, I'm sure strikers absolutely hate.
It was horrible coming up against Millie. She thrives. She really thrives under that type of pressure. Obviously, her family are really well supported. She absolutely adores them. They travel everywhere with her. But she thrives under this intensity, this energy, and coming up against Bunny Shaw. And for this game, Millie came out on top. We'll see, obviously, the next 3 games. Bunny just couldn't be clinical enough to obviously score today, and obviously came off with about 20 minutes to go.
It is just a couple of days till these two meet again in the Champions League quarter-final. But in terms of what Nick's come in and changed from this Manchester City team that you saw last weekend, Farah, what's the difference?
I think firstly what was I identified today was the intensity they played at. I don't think there was much difference in terms of the style of play. I don't think they still, in my opinion, lack runners that run from deeper positions to try and stretch the back line to open pockets up for them. They want to play possession, but you have to open the pitch. They don't do that enough, but I felt actually with the ball, they certainly played with much better intensity today than they did at the weekend and against Aston Villa. And I think they had more bodies in the box, which they lacked, again, I felt, against Aston Villa.
You mentioned the word freedom. That's what you felt they were playing with more.
Yeah, I did feel like Rords and Miedema were a little bit higher, getting into different positions, pockets. I felt like Fujino came a little bit deeper, maybe came a little bit inside and allowed the fullback to run a little bit longer on that right-hand side. But again, I think he needs a little bit longer to really embed what he wants tactically from him. And I hope come Wednesday there is a little bit more tactical nous that he can bring, a little bit more freedom, a little bit more excitement, and maybe a little bit change in that philosophy.
How do you see that next game going, Farah?
It's interesting. I don't think they change much City. As I said, I think they have to be more clinical in front of goal. But what I did notice as well, Alex, which I forgot to mention, was they used the wide areas, certainly in the first half, a lot better today than they have in recent weeks. And that's actually a strength of theirs, because Bunny Shaw is an absolute handful in the box for defenders. Recent weeks, they haven't got enough balls into her. But I think when your midfielders, as you mentioned there, Jill Rod and Miedemar, when they know the ball's going to come into the box early, they can start to make the movements. I think in recent weeks, the reason why numbers in the box haven't been as many is because they're kind of indecisive in wide areas if the ball's coming in, if they're coming back. So I think it was more clear in wide areas when the ball was coming in, we're going to commit bodies.
I feel like Chelsea did really well nullifying Mary Fowler. She's been a very impressive goal contributions this season. They really nullify that. Firmino was a big influence, so maybe we'll see that come the next game. You need to get Mary Fowler on the ball more come Wednesday night.
Is it sometimes when you have got that heartache at the moment, when you're sitting in there knowing that you were so close to potentially going on to beat this Chelsea team today, that actually, because the game's coming around so quick, it's a good thing?
100%. I think you need it. I feel like as a player, if I was coming off the back of a result that wasn't how we wanted it, we wanted to play quickly, get back playing, get 90 minutes, and you're playing this team again. So you can be looking at what do we do well, what do we not do well, confidence, momentum. And I think come Wednesday night, they'll be full of energy. And I think Nick Cushing will bring that to this team as well.
And it is the balance right now, Farah, for the Chelsea team, because they know they have a huge period ahead of them. So that spa day is actually about, you know what, we need to recover, but the team bonding element.
I think the team bonding is important. There's a lot of pressure on Chelsea for these next 3 games. I've obviously ticked one off today, but there's huge pressure on this club. And they know the pressure in the Champions League is probably heightened as opposed to WSL, which they've done now 4 years, or is it 5 years or 4 years in a row? They've won FA Cups. So I think it's the Champions League is the one that has or carries the most pressure for this team. Can they deliver? Who knows? But I think in terms of that bonding and getting themselves together, enjoying, today's game, talking about it in the spa, because they're going to want to talk about it. They're going to have their own conversations about who they thought was impactful, who wasn't, what can we do differently, and they'll have their own mind. And we heard Lucy say here, I asked her about Sonia Bompastor and said, does she allow players to make the changes in-game if necessary? And she said yes. And so I think in the spa, when you're chilling, it's probably something that they might start to talk about before they get the game plan.
We need to give you your flowers. What score did you say it would be today?
I did, right? But Alex, I'm going to be honest. I said 2-1. And then last minute I changed 2-1 to City. I actually meant 2-1 to Chelsea. But in hindsight, there was 2 City players that scored, but not for the right team. So I'll take it either way.
Well, you take it. That's it for us. But we'll do it all again next week. We'll be live at the Head-to-Head on BBC One.